The big story tonight is that Anthony Fauci was called before the Senate for a hearing. He's being deposed by Republicans. And this comes after Senator Rand Paul subpoenaed his private journal and recently acquired the journal and released its contents to the public. And what Republicans have found is that Anthony Fauci may have misled the public about how likely it is that the COVID virus originated in a lab. You might recall that during the pandemic, they said it was effectively a 0% chance. They said that is a conspiracy theory. That's not true. There's no evidence for this. And what's more, they censored people for saying this. This was considered disinformation or misinformation. It was systematically eradicated from the internet. And let us also not forget, it was eradicated from the internet on the order of the Biden administration. And the lab leak hypothesis, as it became known, fell under this category. So remember, during the pandemic, they were telling people it's a conspiracy, and the government was literally telling Facebook, literally telling YouTube to ban specific posts promoting this idea. In the journal, however, it has now been revealed that Anthony Fauci at least considered it a possibility that that might have been true. It doesn't get more conclusive than that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You have tuned into another episode of Ron's coverage. Now, today, I want to speak about the latest headline that involves Dr. Fauci pleading the Fifth Amendment not to incriminate himself over 111 times.
Can you explain to the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Do you have the dignity to just say you're sorry?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You will be getting a letter today asking for a volunteer transcribed interview. So I'd be asking, will you comply or will I have to subpoena you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Expect a subpoena. Thank you.
You have a unlimited presidential pardon. What is your specific objection that you are making?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
My question was limited to the period of your pardon only. I find your objection unsupported and direct you to answer the question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Because you refuse to answer, citing a privilege that is unsupported because of your pardon, and after being denied to do so, this committee has scheduled a vote next week on a resolution certifying your contempt.
Why am I not surprised? The reason why is because that is what to expect. To somebody who committed a lot of wrongdoing, someone that pushed the vaccine on us, someone that changed COVID recommendations every other month. His recommendation changes as much as the weather. Yet, he plead the Fifth. He acted like he knew what he was doing when he did it. A lot of people on the Democrat side of the aisle is defending him, saying, oh, he saved a lot of lives. But yet a lot of people also died as well due to him pushing the vaccine on us. People have gotten sick from the vaccine and lost their jobs, deplatformed, labeled as a super spreader. But yet COVID had 99.9% survival rate. But hey, I'm glad that the information is starting to come out. That's why he pleaded the Fifth 111 times, because he is guilty. Someone who pleads the Fifth so many times is obviously guilty.
This was not a good day for Dr. Fauci. He looks very bad. And yes, through the advice of his lawyers, and yes, your lawyers compel you to do something, and they probably wanted him to plead the Fifth on many occasions before he finally relented and did it yesterday. But the bottom line is, this man held dominions over the lives of a nation, if not the world, with what he was imploring and mandating. Everybody was listening to him. As Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pointed out on Hannity last night, he accused Fauci of misleading the country when it came to masks. Fauci was damn near encouraging us to wear 2 and 3 masks at a time. We damn near could breathe. How about the 6-foot social distancing? Where'd he get that from? He later admitted that it wasn't backed by science. He's just coming up with this stuff. The lockdowns, the natural immunities, the vaccine's ability to prevent infection and transmission, Fauci's pulmonary infarction following vaccination that he didn't reveal to the public, but he wrote about it in his diary. And the Democrats have nothing to say. Wasn't it the Democrats that was enforcing stuff? People lost their jobs. Businesses went out of business.
His diaries that was leaked from Newsweek, his notes that was on the public display on websites, states that, says right here on the screen, the NIH funded the gain of function research. That was an accidental outbreak that eventually came over to the U.S. He may have not did it on purpose, but the point of the matter is he still did it. I wish that they conducted committee hearings a lot sooner. But however, I'm disappointed that nothing is going to come from this. You know why? Because he was granted a pardon by Joe Biden on his way out of office. He's not going to go to jail. He's not going to get convicted of anything. Unfortunately, that's the reality. That's part of me being a broadcaster and a journalist, is stating the truth. I believe he's guilty. That's even though my friends on the other side of the aisle are going to say that there's no evidence, but there is according to his diaries. But of course, they're going to deny that. But however, reality is he's not going to go to jail. So my question is, what is all this for? What's the point of even wasting time and money and resources on having Fauci present at a hearing when nothing's going to come from it if he was pardoned by Biden? The elites never serve time in prison, and if they do, it's in protective custody. Nothing's going to happen to them, which means that it's like them being home away from home, but just under solitary confinement. I don't think that's punishment enough, but that's all that's going to happen. I think the Republicans is doing this just to rile up the base for the midterms later on this year. In the fall, Senator Rand Paul says that they're going to hold Fauci in contempt next week. And like I said, nothing's going to come out of this. All it is, this is just like political theater at this point, because they should have done this a lot sooner. But hey, I guess this is good for PR, right? But yeah, that's my take on it, everyone. And I will catch y'all in my next video. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.